What's happening, Tilray traders and investors? It's Rod with the Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today's Tuesday, December 6th. Hope you're well. And in this short video, going to be discussing the stock Tilray Brands. Going to do some technical analysis. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the price action over the last few days. It's been a roller coaster. Getting a few people messaging me, quite a few people just asking if it's healthy or if I was surprised by this action. So I'm going to do some charting. I'll go over my thoughts and opinions and what I potentially could expect over the next couple of weeks and months. And we'll go over my price target. I've done a price target video in the past and it's since hit that target. So I thought I would do another update video on Tilray for everybody that's been asking me about it. Like I said, there's a lot going on in the space right now and the volatility is picking back up. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell to be notified on any future videos or when I go live. 3 months ago, I posted a video, Tilray Brands price target and analysis, and Tilray and the MJ space are heating up. So that was $5 USD. From 3 months ago, my price target, and we've since hit that price target. If we take a look here from yesterday, we actually hit $5.12 USD, and we're seeing a lot of volatility at the moment. So again, when we go up 30, 40, even 50% in a few days with no support established, we need to expect, a 10, 20, maybe even 30% sell-off, which we'll look at the chart here in detail in just a moment. But just remember that when we run, 3 or 4 days, you see 40%, nothing but green days, and we don't lose the low of the previous daily candle, then you need to expect a pretty big drop coming. So again, whether or not I was surprised, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I did think that we were going to hold those gains a little bit more than we did, but the overall broader market was weak today. If we took a look at SPY had a pretty big daily consolidation candle today. So it was just kind of following the broader market, and we outperformed the broader market over the last few days. So what goes up must come down, and the higher we go and the less support that we establish, the more of the pullback and that elevator ride down that we're going to see. But something I wanted to mention as well is Tilray earnings. We don't have anything for about a month. It's coming up on January 9th, so not too far away. EPS forecast is negative 0.0863, and the revenue estimate is 218.34 million, and this is in Canadian. So going to be watching that, going to be giving individual earnings reports a little bit more weight this time around as well on the next few earnings, because we know that the sector is starting to turn around and it's starting to flash signs of a bottom being set, and we could potentially see safe banking here in this lame duck session over the next couple of weeks. Lots of speculation into next week, whether or not SAFE gets passed as a standalone bill or whether or not it gets passed in a wider bill. We'll have to wait and see. No one has a crystal ball, but we can prepare for all scenarios, right? And if we, if we're wrong and we don't see safe banking, I think there's a good chance, an 80 to 90% chance it does get passed before the end of the year here. But if we're wrong and it doesn't get passed, then it's just more time to accumulate, right? So again, investing in MJ isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It's still federally illegal in the U.S., a Schedule I drug. It's going to take some time. We are just scratching the surface, really. Even in Canada, only 4 years old, and there's still so much growth and regulations and things like that need to change. So we're going to be watching those. They were anticipating a pretty big tick up there from 204, which they beat on the last 2 quarters. So they were revising it from 196 to 194, then back up to 204. Now we're starting to see that upward trajectory on the revenue. So 218, 226. Looks like they're expecting a pretty decent next couple of quarters. So going to be interesting, going to be watching that. And like I said, now that the sector has bottomed and we could potentially be entering a new bull market and entering the end of this bear market, I'm going to be giving these individual earnings reports a little bit more weight, because we're going to have a little bit more momentum to the upside at our back, right? It's kind of winds at our back and tailwinds versus headwinds. So taking a look at the daily chart here on Tilray, again, nothing too, out of the ordinary here, nothing too concerning. It's basically just normal price action when we have this volatility. In the last few days, we went up about 42 and change percent. And then today, from yesterday's high to the low of the day today, we were down 23%, right? So when we go up 50%, don't be surprised if we pull back 10, 20%, which in this case, we're still holding the daily uptrend. We had the low, we had the high, higher low, and higher high. Now we're just scouting another higher low. And now you might be wondering, well, is this our higher low? Are we going to continue going up from here? Well, it's entirely possible. We did have a pretty big lower wick there on the day today, held EMA 26. We could still see a bear cross of these EMAs though, which would imply more downside. So we'll be watching these EMAs as crucial data going into tomorrow as well. But essentially the low of the day today at 390 is going to be key support going forward. But ultimately, the number one support is 365, because if we hold 365, the daily uptrend is still intact. So if we lose 365, we're no longer in a daily uptrend. Or if we come down over the next few days and we form a lower high and then lower low, we'd be in a daily downtrend, which based on the size of this range, I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of we went range bound over the next week or so, maybe even 2 weeks, and we just tighten up and we get this type of tightening pattern and equilibrium pattern, which just means we're in a range and we're tightening up and we're waiting for direction for the trend, right? So at the moment, no major red flags whatsoever. Actually, the chart's super bullish. We're in a daily uptrend. We're in a weekly uptrend as well. If we zoom out to the weekly here, you can see here we have the low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So we're just at the moment not even starting weekly consolidation. SPY, the S&P 500 today, started weekly consolidation, losing the low of the last week, right? So we're a little bit stronger than the broader market right now. And if we were to lose 365, we would start weekly consolidation, but it's all about 359 here on the weekly time frame. We would need to hold that support to maintain the weekly uptrend at this point. And if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we're no longer in a monthly downtrend. So we had these lower highs and lower lows, lower high and lower low, lower high, lower low. So once we broke above 452 resistance, that broke that lower high and lower low pattern. So we're no longer in a monthly downtrend, but we're flat on the trend at the moment. There is no uptrend, there is no downtrend. So now we're bouncing on the monthly. Now we need the monthly higher low and higher high. And to give you an idea of what that would look like, we can refer to CGC, so Canopy Growth. Canopy had the low, high, higher low, and higher high, breaking to another monthly higher high this month. So we're in a monthly uptrend, and as I've been saying, I'm not going to be confident in saying the bear market bottom is in MJ until all of our names, ETS, retailers, American producers, Canadian producers are all in monthly uptrends. And the fact that CGC is a leader in the space, listed on the NASDAQ, this is increasing the odds that we could potentially see this happen across the rest of the space, right? So now Tilray needs to consolidate on the monthly, come down, form a higher low compared to the low here at 265, form that higher low and then higher high. And then once we get that higher low, higher higher pattern, we'll be in a monthly uptrend similar to CGC. And again, the more names that do that, the better, and the more confident we are in the sector setting a bottom. So for my price target, I'm expecting we're topping out at EMA 12 here on the monthly time frame, which was sitting at 528, and again lined up well with my previous price target, which we also had the 50 weekly there at 460. And if we look at the 200-day moving average, we had that at 428, and $5 psychological. And I knew that we would likely, over the next few weeks leading into this lame duck session, the odds were in our favor that based on how beaten down we were, the dollar, the DXY was likely due for some pullback as well, and we knew that stocks were likely due for a relief rally, which we got. So that was more tailwinds. So we had lots of confluence saying $5 and lined up with EMA 12 there on the monthly time frame as well. Now I'm targeting EMA 26. A lot of our names more than likely going to start trending back to that EMA 26. These moving averages, we usually gravitate back toward them, right? And an example on the weekly time frame you can see here, once we get above, we usually come back down and we confirm resistance, we get above it, we confirm support, and we get extended to the upside, and then we gravitate back, confirm resistance, we lose it, resistance, we continue the trend down lower in a downtrend, and now we're starting the weekly uptrend, and we could even see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross here in the EMA, so it's looking really, really good. We just need that monthly higher low and higher high, just like CGC did. And then, like I said, my target ultimately is going to be on the monthly time frame, going to be targeting about $10 over the next few weeks. I think we could realistically see that over the next month or so leading into to earnings. And if we take a look at the weekly time frame, we're still above the 10-week moving average. The only cause for concern here is the stochastic potentially seeing a bear cross, but the MACD is still very much bullish. So we're looking good from that standpoint. And then if we take a look at the weekly moving averages, we have the 100 there at 1033. So I do think that that $10 area is going to be a nice round psychological number that we can potentially target over the next few weeks and, maybe 3 to 4 weeks or 2 to 3 months. We'll see. It could be an executive order from Biden. We could get rescheduling. We could get safe banking. We just don't know yet. Could be a standalone package, could be part of a wider bill. But another bullish flashing indicator here as well is that we have yet to see a golden cross with the 50-day moving average down below the longer-term moving averages. When that happens, it's called a bull cross, and on the daily time frame, it's called a golden cross when the 50-day crosses through the 200-day moving average. And we're probably a couple of weeks away at least from seeing that. So I do think that into the end of the year, maybe even first couple of weeks into January, maybe mid-January, we could see this bull cross and golden cross. And like I said, $10 ultimately, I think, is going to be baked into this stock over the next couple of months. And we'll be watching those earnings, obviously, if they can continue that trend of beating and then see an improvement there on EPS. I think that kind of hindered everything. But again, we knew the sector was bearish. Nothing was moving the sector. Now we're finally starting to see volatility pick back up in the sector. We're starting to see things heat up again. And now is the time where we could get, safe banking, we could get rescheduling, some sort of reform in the US coupled with a good earnings report. That is going to be fireworks. So the longer the base, the higher in space, and I'm ready for space. Let me know if you're excited. I'm excited for the next few months. And like I said, just preparing for all scenarios. I've got cash on the side. I've got a short position on the S&P 500. I've got, dollar cost averaging into MJ as my number one strategy. And I'm just going to buy and hold until the US legalizes. That's my long-term plan in my long-term account. I've also got some in a shorter term account as well, but ultimately I'm here for US legalization, and that could be in the next few months. We could get some kind of reform. It could be in the next few years. We just don't know. But personally, I don't invest any more than I'm willing to lose. I'm willing to let that money sit and continue to dollar cost average, because I do not for a second believe that MJ is not going to stand the test of time, right? I think MJ is here to stay, and it's just a matter of time before the tide turns and we see all-time highs and new price discovery. And I'm going to be here for that, and I'm going to be continuing to make videos and supporting every one of you listening to my voice as we go along this journey. So going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Pow Group. Let me know in the comments below if you think $10 is realistic over the next 1 to 2 months. I think it's very, very doable. So going to end it there. Excited to see what the future has in store over the next couple of months into this lame duck session, especially in the next few weeks as Congress wraps up and enters a new Congress at the beginning of the year. So hope you have a fantastic night, and we'll see you again more than likely tomorrow for another video. Take care. See you on the next update.